Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. This is Jessop's Journal. Hey, Wesley, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go do a story.
Okay.
Wesley, thank you very much for coming on Jessop's
pleasure.
Journal today. It's time to sign in the book.
Okay. No. Is there a drum roll?
I've known you for a long time, and
I've been around for a long time.
Yeah, we both have. And so the question is, for people that are watching this, how in the heck do we know each other?
TV business, right?
Yeah. It's been a while.
I've been at Channel 4 for 34 years, just about to start my 35th year.
Really?
Probably by the time this airs, it will be my 35th year, because it was mid-October when I first started in '85.
How did you get into the TV business?
Do you want the honest story? 'Cause
Please.
It's embarrassing.
Okay, well, hey, we love embarrassing.
I was majoring in international relations, hoping to find some company that would send me back to Japan so I could work there and speak Japanese. And I'm watching television one night at home, like 20, 21 years old, watching Channel 2, watching Bill Marcroft, who we always used to watch. And it dawned on me that that was his job, because I seriously thought that those guys had real jobs during the day and would go in and do that for fun at night. Because I would have done it for fun. If somebody said, hey, you can go in and do sports for fun, I'm like, okay, great. And then I thought, wait, if that's his job, then I wonder if you can major in it. And I looked in my college curriculum under sportscasting, and there was nothing.
Right.
I'm like, what else would it be? And I checked broadcasting, saw a major, broadcast journalism, and I went down and changed my major the next day. If I'd have known anything about it, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well,
because I would have been too afraid.
yeah.
But I was just so stupid and so naive, I just thought, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And the whole time I was in college, when they told me I was no good and there were no sportscasting jobs, I just kept thinking, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sure.
So and then when I graduated and was unemployed for 3 months because there were no jobs,
Yeah.
I was thinking, maybe I made a mistake.
What was your first job?
Bismarck, North Dakota,
Wow.
KFYR.
Okay, what were you doing there?
I was doing everything. I worked 6 days a week. I was the photographer, I was the anchor, I was the reporter, did it all. I typed in all the graphics, shot my own stuff, and I was making no money. They hired me for $1,050 a month.
Wow.
And it was, Bismarck's just, it's not the end of the earth, but you can see it from there.
Yeah.
And just freezing cold. I drove a vet.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it was a Chevette, not a Corvette.
Well, okay.
It was a Chevette.
Well, yeah, a vet. Okay.
I called it a vet.
I got it.
And I would drive home at night, 35 degrees below zero temperature, making $1,000 a month, $1,050, and it never lasted. And covering, there's no professional sports or college sports there. We're covering JV volleyball games, and I would drive home at night and think, this is awesome! They're paying me to do this. This is so cool.
I know.
I loved it.
I get it.
Loved it.
Yeah, and the pay you were getting just barely covered the heat bill there,
Yeah,
probably.
right? Yeah, it was so bad.
Wow, that's crazy. Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Springville. Born and raised. My folks are still in the same house I was raised in. Mom just turned 83 yesterday, and Dad's 89. And
What was life for Wesley Ruff growing up?
great. Close with my brother and sister, and had really good friends when I got in high school. I give all the credit to any success that I have in life to my friends from high school.
Really?
Just a great bunch of guys. We all played sports, and most of the jocks have a reputation of being just jocks, and but every one of my friends graduated with honors or high honors.
Wow.
One right now is an ambassador for the United States. One is a couple of them are lawyers. One in Orlando, one here in Salt Lake. One's a dentist. One ran a trucking company, and then I ended up on television. But
Yeah.
I mean, we had a really good group of guys, and again, we all cared about athletics and cared about academics, and the teachers loved us because we were good students, and they were nice to people. And
Well, you've been in the business long enough. You've got some contacts and such. So the question that I'm wondering is, who was like one of the coolest people that you got to golf with?
I just golfed with one of the coolest ones yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Bruce Summerhays.
Really?
Yep. He and I and Randy Dotson from Fairways Magazine went down and played Alpine Country Club on a perfect, gorgeous day on a perfect course, and Bruce is one of the all-time great people. It was great, but I played with Mike Weir, Mike Reed, caddied for both of those in tournaments, both those guys. Played with Bill Murray.
Really?
Park City.
Oh, that'd be a crazy one.
Played with Alice Cooper.
Now, is he a good golfer?
Alice Cooper's a great golfer. He plays
Really?
every single day.
Really?
Callaway put him on their advisory board because he plays every day.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I would have liked to have played with Arnold Palmer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
played with Lee Trevino in a Pro-Am,
Oh, yeah.
but I'd love to have played with Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
He was my idol.
Have you ever gotten a hole-in-one?
Got my first one this summer.
Serious?
First one.
There you go.
61 years old. I played a lot of golf.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I finally knocked one in up at Crater Springs at the Homestead on hole number 2.
Oh, wow. So did you have witnesses?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. You know,
It was,
just
it was actually a PGA, Utah Section PGA Pro-Am.
really?
Oh, yeah. So, a lot of pros and stuff were there. And so I win closest to the hole.
Yeah,
prize.
yeah, you better.
And so they called me up and to get my prize, a dozen golf balls for winning closest to the hole. And Devin DeLynn, the executive director of the Utah Section PGA, had the mic and he said, "You want to say something?" And I said, "Sure." So I took the mic and said, "Let's all try to guess what my lead story is going to be on the air tonight."
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Now, the funny thing is I've teased people, and about you, okay? I do know, and I've seen you a couple times when you've been golfing or doing something and you've got, all the formal up top, but, party on the bottom.
For 25 years, I did spring, summer, fall. I did every show in golf shorts and gym shoes or flip-flops.
The thing that I like to ask people, because to me, if stories from our past don't get told, it's as if they don't exist.
Yeah.
So was there somebody that believed in you before you believed in you?
My mom, I was actually talking to her yesterday at her birthday thing, and I said, "When I got into broadcasting, did you think I'd made a horrible mistake?" She said, "No." She said, "I thought you were going to do that when you talked about that when you were a kid, and I don't remember doing that." But she said, and Dad agreed. He said, "That's one of the things you always talked about doing." I thought I was going to play. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to get recruited and go play ball someplace. I didn't know I was going to be on this side of it, but yeah, my mom just totally thought. I mean, even when college professors told me I was no good and wasn't going to get a job, she just kept. Mom believed in me, said I could do it.
So what kind of things did Mom and Dad pass on to you?
First of all, work ethic. I remember my dad taking 1 week of vacation his whole life. One.
Wow.
He worked and worked and worked. I remember when I was working construction, when I was in college, summer between, I think my freshman and sophomore year was working construction. Woke up, had the flu, sick, and Dad's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm sick." And he says, "You're going to work." And I'm like, "I don't think I am. I have the flu." He says, "You're going to work." You got to be kidding me. So I went to work and got to work and threw up on the road, and they're like, "Get out and go home." But Dad, I mean, he worked through everything, and he worked hard and played hard. And
So what was your first paying job?
ironically, at a clothing store.
Really?
Yep, store 224 in Springville. I sold clothes. I didn't make a lot of money there because I took it all out in trade and clothes.
Yeah. Admittedly, this is Taylor Cooperative. Yeah. This is my clothier, and it's like, yeah, this would be a dangerous place for me to work.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I sold suits to all my friends for all the dances and dress shirts. Back then, the open collar, the roll collar dress shirts were in. Moving right into the disco era. Had a lot of silk shirts with roll collars and the saddleback jeans.
Kind of on a more serious note, stuff happens that kind of puts things in perspective.
Yep.
Does anything like that ever happen to you?
Yeah, I lost my wife to breast cancer, 2006. She fought it for 8 years, and yeah, it's funny because I would. You talk about how it changes your perspective. I used to get really mad at work when I couldn't get a photographer or the video didn't work, and then when she got sick, like that kind of stuff didn't matter anymore. Mm-hmm. And I remember several times Marius Payton, who worked with us, I'd be home and he'd call me up and go, "Hey, they're not going to give us a photographer to go shoot Utah basketball." And I'm like, "And? My wife's sick. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really matter."
Yeah.
And yeah, so I learned some perspective through that.
How old were your kids when she passed?
My oldest son had just got married, but my 2 youngest were just finishing up sophomore year and 9th grade in junior high.
So now Dad needs to be Dad and Mom.
Yeah, It was hard because I worked nights and weekends. I mean, that's when I worked, right? And so I'd get up and feed Lennon and Jenny breakfast. They'd go to school. I'd go to work. They'd come home, and I wouldn't be there. And then they'd go to bed, and I'd come home, and they were asleep. And so I'd only see them for breakfast. It was hard. Hard time.
So your dad taught you work ethic. Your mom believed in you. So what kind of things have you passed down to your kids?
Man, I'd be
Or are you
curious-
trying to?
I'd be curious to hear what they said
Yeah?
to that question. When Arnold Palmer passed away, I called all of them and said, I want you to, if anybody ever asks you who your dad idolized and respected, I want you to say Arnold Palmer.
Really?
Because of just the way he treated people and the way he looked people in the eye and the way he just was a gentleman in all aspects of the game and life. And I wanted them to know that that was somebody that I looked up to. I hope I've taught them hard work. And
The other thing is, and I've had people come up to me and say, you know, that they would love to be you. Serious, because they're going, okay, here's a guy that they have no idea what the work that goes on behind a TV, but it's like, hey, this guy gets to play golf and watch, basketball and football and all that stuff for a living.
yeah, I hear that a lot. I do know that I have a job that 98% of the guys in the state would give their left arm to have, and I try not to, take that lightly. But it's funny that a lot of people just think all I do is go to games and read a couple of scores on the air, and that's my job. But a little more to it than that.
You've been in the business, a long time. Was there a point in time where you said, okay, I've made it?
No, I've never felt that. When I first got hired at Channel 4 from Bismarck, I thought I was good, and I thought, yeah, I could go someplace. I could go to ESPN in a couple of years, and I look back on those tapes now, and I think, A, how did I get a job, and two, how did I keep a job?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't good at all.
Oh, well.
At all. And I think the reason they hired me back then was because they knew I was from here. They knew I'd probably stick around here because I didn't, I wanted to end up here.
Sure.
And they knew that they could get me cheaply because I wasn't making any money in North Dakota. There was a time when there was a big exodus of sportscasters, Steve Cyphers. I skipped on something. A couple of guys went to ESPN. A couple of guys went to different markets. Nance left, and I thought, should I go? Maybe it's time for me to go. And I talked to Cyphers right before he left to ESPN, and he said, where do you want to end up when you're done? And I said, here, this is my home. And he said, then why do you want to leave? And at that point, I was like, you're absolutely right. I've never put together a resume. I've never tried to get any other jobs. I've been contacted by headhunters a couple of times since then to see if I wanted to move, and I'm like, nope.
On behalf of Channel 4, I'm glad you're there.
Thank you.
If I remember correctly, you are the longest running sportscaster in the entire state of Utah.
Have been for several years now, yep.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming on Jessop's Journal.
Thanks.
Now, we've got some lovely parting gifts from our underwriters.
Sweet.
So drum roll, please. Okay.
Oh.
There you go. So first, we got the custom leather journal from Rustico.
I like it.
Did they spell the name right?
They've got my name right.
Awesome. There you go. Okay.
Thanks.
We've got a copper pen from them.
I like it.
We're at Taylor Cooperative. They're the guys that do all my suits and shirts. They're going to make you a custom shirt.
Sweet.
Very neat.
Thank you very much.
I have been known to wear a hat or two. And so,
Really?
yeah.
I've
kind
never
of,
noticed.
Yeah. And so my custom hatter is going to make you a custom hat. That's JW Custom Hats.
A golf hat or a hat?
It could be whatever you want.
That's awesome.
I
Thank
think
you.
you can have some
Thank
fun
you.
with it. And then, of course, I don't know if you imbibe,
I
but
know people who do.
but the folks from Ogden Owns Distillery have got some product here for you guys as well.
Great.
Stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's Journal, I'm Doug Jessop, ABC4 News.